the big topic of this whole season, basically. And that's Daniel Jones versus the Vikings defense there. Now, DJ basically made his reputation to a certain degree in 22 off of what he did to the Vikings in the playoffs. That's his biggest game of his career. That's probably his best game of his career. And it's one he's, definitely didn't hurt his chances of making that money there. That's for damn sure. So, people are kind of like, Vikings. Oh, Daniel Jones did pretty good against them. That was 2 years ago, Vikings guys. That was 2 years ago, Daniel Jones. And that was
really both ways.
One of the worst defenses in the entire league back in 22. We said it here on our show. Daniel Jones beat the crap out of bad defenses. The Colts, the Vikings twice. It's like, he wasn't playing great teams towards the end, but he was getting credit as if he was, because people just saw him finally put up some numbers. We were that desperate for production. We got excited, But
do you blame us? Do you blame us?
But Daniel, I don't. Oh, but Daniel Jones, he's facing a Vikings defense. It's got some issues, especially in the secondary there, guys. I mean, they've lost a lot of corners this year already. So, the big tragic one, obviously, is the rookie corner, Kyrie Jackson, who died in a car crash. They also lost Makai Blackman to a torn ACL. But they also signed Stephon Gilmore. But Gilmore's also 33 years old. So is this the year that, Father Time takes his toll on him finally?
Yeah.
But the big thing is their secondary is not that strong necessarily. It's not. Like, people that think otherwise, they need to look a little more into that roster and see what's going on. And it's just one of those things that if you want to pick a spot to pick on them, guys, that's where it's at. It's that secondary. It's weak. I mean, besides Stephon Gilmore, who basically is going to be their version of Patrick Peterson from 2 years ago, a guy who's, at the end of his career, just trying to play as well as they can, as long as he can, which I got no issue with. Make your money, enjoy playing your game, do it.
Yep.
But definitely on the tail end of the career, definitely towards the very end of the career. The other guy they got big name-wise in the secondary is Harrison Smith, who's 35 years old, guys. 35. Even for a secondary, that's getting up there. I know, and I feel bad saying, because 35 is 7 years ago for me. But it's like, that's for football years. That's a long time, guys. So this is a secondary that can go ahead and, I'm not saying they can't do anything. They can do some things, but this is not an elite secondary we're facing, guys.
Yeah, I mean, we take into consideration what we have on our offense, running that field, and the speed. Does Father Time trip you up?
Yeah. And, the rest of it, we'll get into some of the stuff before, but it's also our wide receivers. Guys, we got some depth at the wide receiver position. There will be people open. BJ can just spot them somewhere on the field. We'll find out that part of it. That's always been his issue.
If he's not staring at Malik Neighbors the whole time, he might see Hyatt downfields.
Neighbors, Robinson, Hyatt, Slayton. I mean, it's like, you got some really decent young receivers here for him to throw to. Plus, you got on top of that, of course, you got these young tight ends now. I mean, Theo Johnson, I'm kind of curious what he is going to be in this league. I really think still, I'll stand by what I said prior to about him. He's a boom or bust. Obviously, we're hoping for boom, but he's a boom or bust pick. That's what he is. He was an athletic pick that didn't produce in college. Those are boom or bust. And, Bellinger obviously is still pretty young too as well. There's these young weapons everywhere for this guy to throw to. He's just got to have the time and the vision.
The vision is the key part.
Yeah. All the talk is going to be about the Vikings offense this week, because the Vikings offense is missing a lot of guys, obviously. Again, J.J. McCarthy's out for the year. Jordan Addison is suspended. TJ Hawkinson is injured. There's a lot of guys out that are big name guys for their offense. Almost every weapon, except for, obviously the really big one we'll get to in a little bit, and Justin Jefferson, is out. At least in the passing game. So, I mean, the big thing, though, is that, yes, that's the talk because of the injuries. But this defense isn't stellar either, guys. Jones has an opportunity in this game to show what he can do and to show he can be at least 22 version of Jones again. Because I think if any of us are expecting, a MVP caliber season out of him, then you're smoking crack, because that's ridiculous. Like, that's absolutely insane to even think at this point. But if we can just get game manager 22 version of him, this team could do some damage.
You do a lot of damage this year.
Yeah. So am I saying Super Bowl caliber? No. Sneak in the playoffs like they did in 22. And some people will probably say we're crazy for saying that. But guys, in 22, you would have said we're crazy too.
Y'all did.
I would have said it. You know, I thought we'd just barely not make the playoffs. What we had in our recommendations there on the season, we're pretty much dead on the win total. I thought we'd just barely not be able to sneak in there, but we did. We did a little sneak and got in there. Maybe that happens again. But this is going to be a game where we can really develop an opinion on what Daniel Jones we're going to get this year. Because while we all trashed him for that preseason game, every single one of us, and I don't mean just me and Rob, I mean every content creator out there, every fan out there, every media member out there, like, he got lambasted for that game against the Texans. It's a very small sample size, guys.
Yeah.
For a guy who hadn't played football in quite some time.
Yeah, since he messed up his knee.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's not played.
So, you know, I'm still willing to give him the benefit of the doubt and say, hey, Daniel Jones could be 22 version again. I'm not going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say he can be a Pro Bowler or an MVP or anything crazy like that. But he could be a game manager maybe. And if he can do that, and he can just chuck the ball deep every so often to Slayton and Hyatt, you know, get the ball on a nice slant route over to Neighbors who can get some yak yards and make a big play with his abilities, this could be a decent season for Jones. Good enough to want him back next year? Probably not. But enough that he'll be able to extend his career somewhere else.
Correct.
And I hate to say it that way as a ceiling, but that's probably the ceiling for Jones this year. And it's got to start now against this Viking defense that's just not stellar.
Hey, DJ, the Raiders are calling you.
If you like that clip, then you will love the full episodes too. Find us on your favorite podcast app and look for us on all your favorite social media platforms.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please subscribe.